And welcome everyone to a special episode of the Other People Show presents Real Talk. And tonight rather, we're going to discuss the cult classic Donnie Darko. On the guest in studio tonight is the guest
Stacy.
Stacy is with me, and Stacy had never watched Donnie Darko before, correct?
No, I had not.
So had you heard of this movie before?
Uh, no, I hadn't, which is actually kind of shocking to me because the type of movie that it is. It's kind of those are usually the kind of movies that I watch.
Right, right.
And the cast that it had, that's I'm really shocked that I've never seen it.
So had you never really even heard of this movie?
No,
Wow.
I had not.
That is amazing to me because this does classify as a cult classic as it failed
Mhm.
upon its initial release. Um, and over the years, it gained status as more and more people tried to figure out what this movie was actually about. And that's what we're going to try to get into tonight on Real Talk. We're going to really talk about the movie Donnie Darko. We're going to get into it, get your thoughts, and we're going to get the audience's thoughts. If you want to chime in, please do chime in. Go to the Other People's Show on Facebook. Go there on YouTube and Spotify. Thank you for supporting. Let's dive right in. So I sent you some questions, kind of about some of the things that we'd be talking about.
Mm-hmm.
But as you stated, you knew nothing about Donnie
No,
Darko.
absolutely.
So let's set this up. Donnie Darko, before I reveal anything, what did you know about it? Did you go in when you clicked on it? Did you read what it was about?
I didn't even do that actually.
Okay.
I just started watching it.
Oops, sorry. Hey, Lisa, thanks for tuning in. So, what did you say now? Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
I do read the synopsis, before I go in and watch a movie. I did not this time. I
Okay.
actually just started watching the movie.
Okay.
That way I didn't have any
Spoilers or expectations.
preconceived notion of what it's supposed to be about.
Right.
So,
Good. So, I'll give a little detail about how Donnie Darko evolved. Now, hey, Lana. Now, Lana did provide quite a few questions and factoids about Donnie Darko. And she had told me the other night how she actually came to learn about Donnie Darko. So Donnie Darko came out in October, or actually September of 2001, right after 9/11 happened. So it was a small movie, pretty much produced by Drew Barrymore's production company. And I should have up some information here. I'm just going through it quickly. But without her involvement, the movie probably would not got as much money as it did, which was $4.5 million, nor would it have been shown theatrically. So that was some, and she also starred in the movie as well. So right away, the director Richard Kelly, he's from Virginia, and Lana has this on her factoids. He's from Midlothian, Virginia, and it's right around Richmond. But in the movie, it's called Middlesex. Middlesex. It's what it's referred to. So so he's from Virginia. He wrote this screenplay.
it's funny. So, do you know where this was filmed?
It does say. Let's pull up IMDb here. I should have already had that up. Do you mind to pull that up? Can you pull up that?
Oh, well. Because
If you
when I
don't mind.
first started watching it, I thought the scenery, it could have been. I was thinking at first that could be filmed here.
Now, do they say in the movie that it is Virginia, or do they just say Middlesex?
It just says Middlesex.
That's what I
don't
thought.
ever remember it saying. It might have, but I don't remember.
I don't remember it saying. Now the director's cut of the movie is a little different. I've only seen that one once, but I can never remember if it's actually mentioned about Virginia. But this was a box office flop, they say, in the cinemas. It didn't make its money back, and it was virtually forgotten about because all the marketing that they had already spent, all the money that they had already spent, had been, it had like it had some scenes featuring like the jet engines and such coming down. Making sure everything's okay there. So, in addition to that,
Okay.
let's see here. Just one moment. Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Hello? Hello? Hello?
What's up, yeah?
Yes.
Hey, could you play a song for me over here in Gate City?
Okay, what's that?
There's one I think that Virginia Crosstalk put out called Time Has Made a Change in Me.
Yeah.
And then there's another one I can't remember who it is. It's I'm Really Gone. I believe that's
Taking requests for the
either
radio
Joel
station.
Austin, Quicksilver.
All right, thank you. All right, thanks very much.
Appreciate it.
Mm-hmm. And we just took a request. Anyway, sorry about that. But back to Donnie Darko. So yeah, so I'm going to give a little bit of the synopsis of the film. So after narrowly escaping a bizarre accident, a troubled teenager is plagued by visions of a man in a large bunny suit who manipulates him to commit a series of crimes. Do you agree or disagree about that synopsis of Donnie Darko? Because when I read that earlier, yes, those things do occur in the film.
I don't think that's what that does not describe the movie.
I don't think it
Very
describes
well.
the movie at all. I was trying to describe the movie
I
earlier
would be
to
disappointed if I read that and then watched the movie.
yeah, I tried to describe it to Liz earlier, and that was not really how I had described the movie.
No,
Not at all.
like I said, if I had read that and then watched the movie, I would be
Highly disappointed.
highly disappointed and confused. Right.
Okay, so knowing what you know, this was Seth Rogen's first film. For those that you didn't know that. Now this is his first on-screen appearance, and his first line of dialogue that they filmed on screen was, "I like your boobs." That was his first line of dialogue. So he plays like a bully,
Yes, he is definitely a bully.
a douchebag.
Totally.
So so yeah. So what did you think about this?
It was very interesting movie. Jake is one of my favorite actors, so I usually like anything that he's in.
Right.
So.
And you didn't know going into it that he was even in the movie.
No.
Because I told you nothing.
No.
Okay.
So I was surprised at the cast. Like I said, that was in it. Drew Barrymore, Jake, his sister Maggie.
You can pull it a little bit closer. There you go.
And the music is awesome.
Yeah. Now it does take place in the 80s.
Yes, so it has really good 80s music.
Yeah. As we open up with Echo and the Bunnymen with The Killing Moon. Now it's weird. That song that opens up Donnie Darko is different in the director's cut. Some of the music and some of the scenes are different. There's more scenes and the music's different. So depending on which cut that you watched, which you watched the HBO Max.
Yes.
So I think that's the theatrical cut. But Lana had watched the director's cut, which she messaged earlier that she liked that one better. And I can't really compare the two because it's been such a long time since I've watched the director's one.
Well, I've
So
only seen one.
yeah. So okay. So continue. You love the music of in Jake Gyllenhaal,
Not just Jake.
but the cast.
I don't think I didn't like the way they cast Patrick Swayze. He was a weirdo, pretty
Sleazeball, pretty much.
Sleazeball in this movie, and I'm a Swayze fan, so.
Right. So he was cast against the type that he's
type
usually.
that he usually is. That was one of the things I think that they were kind of not the same. They were not characters that they usually would play. Even Jake was not, because.
Well, since and also Patrick Swayze brought his own clothes to use from the 80s.
Really?
For the character of Jim Cunningham. And also something else, they watch a video within the movie of him doing these little self-help videos.
Yes.
About not having fear.
Yes.
So within the self-help videos, they have filmed at Patrick Swayze's ranch. When that little kid said, or the mom said, like, I didn't know it wasn't normal for a kid not to wet the bed at 10 years old. Yes. I'm not afraid anymore. That was filmed at Patrick Swayze's ranch.
His ranch.
Yeah.
That's cool. Grandma Death was really. I have my theories about Grandma Death.
Okay.
So if we go with the theory that the movie is about time travel.
Right.
I feel like maybe that Gretchen and Grandma Death might be the same person.
Oh, that's something I hadn't really thought of.
And maybe even the teacher.
The
Barrymore.
Okay.
Because she
was kind of an odd.
She was an odd
teacher, wasn't she?
And she taught different than any of the rest of them, and I guess she tried to teach them more about life than teachers normally do.
And you could tell by the end she was fired. She was let go.
Yes, and remember she wrote the cellar door on the.
Is the most beautiful word written in the English. Word.
And that's how he went into the cellar and at Grandma Death's house.
That's true.
That's my theory on that.
Okay.
I think maybe they're all kind of the same.
Now I did have
different times if you're gonna base it like it's a time travel. Maybe.
No, that's what that I've heard. It is the there's many explanations for Donnie Darko, obviously.
What is your theory?
Well, I've seen Donnie Darko many times, and at first I connected it. Well, as soon as I often spoil things, so as soon as I learned about it, I read multiple things about it. So by the time that I'd seen it, I had already knew what it was about or what it was supposed to be about. So that element, I didn't go into it like you did, knowing nothing. I had read about it. Actually, someone had called. We did a show on WMMT called The Midnight Mutants, and a caller had called in and mentioned Donnie Darko, which we hadn't seen it, but we felt, that we weren't cool unless we said that we had. So we said, yeah, we've seen that. So I went to the public library, and they had it on VHS. No, DVD. It might have been DVD. I think it was DVD, but it could have been VHS because it was like 2002.
Right on the edge of VHS.
So one of the others, and I think now looking back, it might have been DVD, but I watched it. My sisters and I watched it, and didn't really know what to think about it at first. But the more that I've watched it, there's a lot of things that Lana has in here, and the way you described it is a way that I hadn't really thought about looking at it. So you're thinking that Grandma Death, the teacher, and the girl are the same person,
Just a
but in
different
alternate
alternate
timelines.
time, since it's supposed to be about time travel.
Right.
And because that's the book that Roberta Sparrow, who is Grandma Death, she wrote that book about time travel. So obviously that was, she believed in that.
Right,
So
right.
I think personally that is, and in the movie when Gretchen moved, remember she said she got to pick her own name, and she was
What was
She
the
was-
name she chose? When I rewatched it the other night,
Gretchen Ross is what her name was.
yeah, Gretchen Ross.
So,
That's a good name though. I like that name.
yeah. So, but that, and to me, she had that, I guess, imagination, to like an alternate
Right.
personality. So
Yeah.
she would have
Well, it was weird
could have
because
been Roberta Sparrow.
and she was a character that I liked, but I wish they would have. I had a little bit more of her. Maybe they put the right amount. I don't know. You'd have to film it and put it in. But she had a good backstory because
Yes.
her dad had murdered her mom or something,
Her mom was he stabbed her.
stabbed her, so they had to go
They
to
had to
Middlesex, but have different
Changed
identities.
their identity. That's
And,
what she said, but it never showed her mom, and then her mom disappeared.
Right. It never showed anything else really.
It never showed that she had a mom. And I thought it was very suspicious when her mom disappeared that the police told her to find somewhere safe to go.
Right.
She's a kid.
That's true. That's true.
So those are my theories. That's why I think she was the same.
So
the same person.
here's a few little things that are on the Donnie Darko timeline. So I wish I could go and tell you what I thought it was. I thought that the jet engine was originally meant to kill Donnie Darko. And I think that's when he wasn't there because he was sleeping on the lawn because Frank had led him there.
Mhm.
That's why the jet engine. So from that point, see, I don't know if I originally thought this or read this and learned it over the years. I honestly can't. I don't remember what I originally thought, and that kind of saddens me.
I also thought, what if he really was there the first time? And it was all, he was dead the whole movie.
That's a good, interesting point as well. Now, I looked at a couple of things today, well, not just today, but over the last couple of days. So it's saying that there are two timelines. There's the primary universe and the tangent universe. So two timelines. So the opening scene where we see Donnie on the bike and he argues with his sister and mother, all that takes place in the primary universe. That's on October 1st because it takes place in 28 days, which happens to also be, it took 28 days to film the movie Donnie Darko, yes. And the director says it's just a coincidence. But is it? Or did he plan it that way so it would be a cool trivia thing in IMDb? I would do that. So the tangent universe is created when Donnie avoids the jet engine, and we remain in the universe until the end of the film. So from that point forward, you're in the second universe, second timeline.
The other one's kind of just over here,
Yeah, just lingering.
just lingering.
So
this
Donnie is
movie's going
told
on.
that the world will end 28 days, 6 hours, 42 minutes, and 12 seconds before waking up. He comes home to discover a jet engine has mysteriously landed in his house. So that's when the tangent universe starts. Monday the 3rd, on what appears to be the next day, Donnie gets to go to school where Gretchen joins the English class. On the drive home, his father narrowly avoids hitting Grandma death and tells the psychiatrist, Dr. Thurman, about Frank. October 5th, Donnie floods the school on Frank's orders. Now, what did you think about Frank when he first came about? Because he comes about, you hear the voice early on, but you don't see him until about maybe 20 minutes into the movie, maybe.
Well, he's creepy, obviously.
Okay.
I don't know. They kind of made it out to be like he was schizophrenic through the whole movie,
Right.
but I didn't think that was true. Very good.
Because it does
He-
does lead you, especially when he's banging on the window. I mean, not the window, but the mirror.
Yeah.
And you're like, is he? Because that's when he starts to, he goes in there and takes his medication. Right.
Mhm. But there's really nothing else in the movie to suggest that he's schizophrenic. I
No.
mean, that's so. I think more that the rabbit is more subconscious
Okay.
than an alter
Personality or
personality.
something.
So
Okay.
that's
So we'll get back to, and this, what I'm reading here and telling is only one idea of what it is. So Thursday, October 6th, Donnie walks Gretchen home and asks her out. Dr. Thurman attempts to hypnotize Donnie for the first time. Monday the 10th, Donnie receives the philosophy of time from his science teacher and realizes it was written by Grandma Death, who is Roberta Sparrow. Now, what did you think about, you were talking about the casting of the movie. Now, you like the casting of Noah Wiley
yes.
as the doctor, and you didn't know he was in the movie.
I didn't know he was in it. I really like him. I've always liked him.
And you said you knew him mainly from what, ER?
ER, yes.
Okay.
He's played in a couple of different. He played it in The Librarians. Did you ever watch that show?
You know what? I did actually see a few episodes of that.
It was a pretty good show. I just like him.
It was better than I knew nothing about it, but it was not bad.
Not bad.
Wasn't bad.
But-
So let's see. Tuesday. So that was a nice little treasure that he showed up.
Mhm.
So Tuesday, October 18th, Donnie attempts to kiss Gretchen. Dr. Thurman meets Donnie's parents to discuss upping his medicine, while Donnie looks at Frank in the mirror. So that's what we're talking about. So we'll skip ahead 8 days. Wednesday, the 26th, English teacher Karen tells Donnie about the significance of the words cellar door as she leaves the school. Donnie tells Sharita that everything will be okay and takes her earmuffs. I did feel sorry for Sharita.
Yeah.
Saturday the 29th, Donnie and Elizabeth throw a party. Donnie and Gretchen make love. Sunday the 30th, Donnie and Gretchen go to visit Roberta Sparrow, only to be attacked by the bullies, resulting in Gretchen being hit and killed by a car. Donnie shoots Frank before sending the jet engine back in time to the primary universe. The tangent universe ends. Sunday, October 2nd. So it starts
back at the beginning.
Now we return to the primary universe on the 2nd, where none of the events of the last 28 days have taken place. Donnie wakes up and laughs just before the jet engine crashes into his room. Everyone who is connected to Donnie in the tangent universe suddenly wakes up, and Gretchen waves to Donnie's mother after learning of his death. So what do you think? What do you think about that explanation?
Well,
See, I hadn't thought about it in those exact
I
terms.
hadn't either.
I knew that something with time travel occurred with the jet engine, because it did have him laughing at the end, right before it fell on him again. So I was like, there has to be some kind of significance. But I wasn't sure about the time travel aspect.
Okay, so I have this question.
Okay.
Because his mom and sister were on the plane. So that something happened too.
Right.
So did that engine come from the plane that his mom and sister were
Well,
on?
see, that's what I think because I think it one scene, if I can recall, doesn't it show his mom in the plane and it's shaking
Mm-hmm. It's
at the beginning, near the beginning. I can't remember where it is in the beginning.
it's at the end.
Near the end,
It's when it goes back to,
the primary universe,
yes, because she's coming home from taking her to
the dance
the
thing.
dance thing, and they're in the plane.
Yep. So the plane just crashes, but kills her son.
Yes.
So some of the questions, and you answered one. Did we think Donnie is schizophrenic?
No.
No, we
I
don't.
think. Yes.
So that's
Not at
one
all.
theory, but we don't think that's it. Another theory is Donnie Darko just a dream? Many have interpreted the events of the film as a dream or simply happening inside Donnie's head at the moment of his death on the 2nd of October. This has been used to explain why Donnie was laughing even though he was supposedly knew he was going to die. Many have argued back that the other characters all waking up after his death seemingly have memories of the event, suggests it's not all in Donnie's head. I never once really thought it was a dream.
No, and that's I guess the fact of when it shows his therapist wake up, like, and
Hey, Melissa.
even the teacher
Yeah.
and Noah Wiley, it's like they realize something's wrong. So that's the only thing I guess that keeps me thinking that the only thing to.
I think they realized Donnie was
And he was
special in
dead
a
the whole
way.
time.
I think they realized, and one of these things on here
He was very smart. Look,
does say that the director, let's see if he actually answers this question, just suggests. Most of Donnie's visions are a result of him being chosen as a living receiver. And it's revealed that Donnie's drugs are placebos, suggesting that he's not really schizophrenic at all. Because that was, that was something that Atlanta had, and I'd remember that as well. Another one could be, is Donnie Darko a time loop? Was he caught in a time loop? Many of the theories incorporate the tangent universe theory, but argue that the tangent universe simply reset every 28 days rather than collapsing. Donnie was supposed to die in the jet engine, and the only way to break the cycle was to let the accident kill him. That's pretty interesting. I never really had thought of that.
It had just been a continual
Kind of like in, like,
Groundhog Day, maybe.
yeah, or like that Tom Cruise movie. What was it called? Did you ever watch it? Edge of Tomorrow, but then they renamed it Live, Die, Repeat. So that's okay. It's something like that. So, so some very interesting things on Donnie Darko. Let's see. You want to go through some of these facts that Lena has?
Yeah.
Let's see. We mentioned that Drew Barrymore's her production company, Flower Films, got this released. Let's see. It took 28 days. We mentioned that. Seth Rogen, his first feature film.
That's funny. So that was his first line in the movie. Was.
Yeah, that would be a cool line to be, because that's a line you're always going to remember. You know what I mean? Let's see. Frank, the bunny, the inspiration was the protagonist in the novel or the cartoon Watership Down. Have you ever seen that? Have you heard of it before?
I've heard of it, but I've never seen it.
It's a very scary cartoon, but it's very I remember seeing it when I was a kid. I've never seen it as an adult. So in my mind, it's horrific. Now maybe as an adult.
That was in it, and it was a cartoon.
Well,
yeah,
we'll have to look it up.
The creepiest little thing.
Yeah, Frank the bunny.
Yeah, Frank Frankie's not a furry bunny.
Also, the blobs, the future, the clear kind of like
yeah,
things.
those things that were coming out of their stomachs.
So, and this was interesting. These were inspired by John Madden on NFL. He would pause the screen and he would draw kind of these kind of blobs where the players were getting ready to go. And Richard Kelly was watching that when he was high one time and thought of this and incorporated it into Donnie Darko.
What you do when you're
Yeah. Interesting question, or interesting. Vince Vaughn was offered the role of Donnie Darko, although he was 29 years old at the time. But he passed because he thought he was too old. Mark Wahlberg also wanted the role, but he wanted to add a lisp to Donnie Darko.
I don't see.
Because Mark Wahlberg obviously was much younger, but he's still close to 30. But I think
Jake was only 19.
Yeah, and Jason Schwartzman, he was also up for the role, but he couldn't do it because of a scheduling conflict.
I cannot see Mark Wahlberg or
Vince Vaughn as that.
Vince Vaughn as that.
So no. So Ferris Bueller's house is 1 minute from the Donnie Darko's house.
Really?
And the sequel, S. Darko, was made independently of Donnie Darko, and it's nothing.
So it has nothing to.
It's awful.
I
If you've
saw
ever
that on.
or like recommended or something,
Yeah.
it's not good. It's not.
It's nothing.
No. So we'll get to a couple questions here. Let's see. So, did you have a favorite character in this movie?
Well, I think Grandma Death might be my favorite character.
Really? Okay. That was a surprising.
I guess the maybe not so much because I'm still convinced that all three of them are the same person. I guess
Right.
that personality maybe instead of yeah.
I did not expect that at all. Do you have a least favorite?
I'm probably gonna have to say that snooty teacher that kept getting him in trouble and doing everything. I didn't like her at all.
I'm trying to think of her name, Miss. Because she's the one that he said to enforce to shove that up her anus.
Yes.
Now the director said that when they were filming that scene, that he laughed multiple times when they were doing that take because it was so funny. Miss Kitty Farmer, Miss Farmer is her name.
Yes, I do not like Miss Kitty Farmer.
Beth Grant is the actress. And also, I've seen Kitty Farmer. There was a show called 6 Feet Under, and they would have a murder, not a murder, but a death at the beginning of each show.
Mm-hmm.
And because obviously that episode would take place center around that person's death. And she was one of the people that got killed or died of a heart attack, and she's driving a car. So you said you like the music from Donnie Darko, and we sprinkled it in throughout this episode. I think it's really, really fitting. But what about the score other than just the 80s music? We'll play a little bit of that. Sorry for the people that's watching online. We're going to figure out how to do it, to fix it. But it's got a really good score, and it's a really creepy score.
Mm-hmm.
But it's very subtle. But you can tell that it's made with very few instruments, not very loud.
It's not over. It's not too much.
Yeah. Like this little tune.
Stuff like that.
Now, one time when I was substituting, the students were like writing, and I would put on music, and this was one of the songs that I put on. because I thought it would evoke, writing. But
You weren't afraid it would evoke like Frank.
now that you think about it, that is a good possibility because we were in a teacher setting,
You're brave.
So
My favorite scene in the movie, I think,
yeah.
was when
Hey, Chris.
Mr. Patrick Swayze was up there in their school asking if they had questions and all that, and he gets up and tells them, he answers all their questions and tells them
What he thinks about it.
what he thinks about and tells the kid he needs to learn he learned just to learn karate so he can kick him in the balls.
Yeah.
And then tells the one little girl she needs to go on a diet because she's, I thought that was
He just puts it out there.
Gets up there and just.
Now, the same kid that he tells that he needs to learn to kick him in the balls is the same kid in the video that says he wet the bed until he was 10. It's the same kid. Yep, it's the same kid, which was pretty interesting. I don't know about my favorite. That is a good scene. I don't know about my favorite scene in Donnie Darko. Some movies I go back and I'm like, that scene stands out, or these scenes are really great. But I can't just really just watch like one Donnie Darko scene. But if I had to choose one, I would choose I really don't know. I really don't have. I mean, I do like the scene where I think this song is actually playing, "The Artifact and Living." Might be wrong, but I think him and Gretchen go out on a date, and they're watching The Evil Dead,
Mm-hmm.
which
Oh, yes.
Sam Raimi let them use that scene for free in the movie.
Really?
Yeah. And then he goes, which you don't know it at the time, but he sets Patrick Swayze, Jim Cunningham's house on fire. Then he goes back.
That is a good scene.
And I think that's one of my favorite scenes. But
This really.
It's hard for me just to watch the movie without it just scenes and scenes.
This is a movie that you probably should watch more than once because you probably will get something different from it every time you watch it.
Yeah.
Because there's so much going on in it, really.
Yeah. I've probably honestly seen it probably 20 to 25 times, I would say, probably.
Yeah, there were several places in it that I've, pushed rewind so I could watch just.
And it's a quiet movie too, so it's also a good movie. It's sometimes hard for me to fall asleep in movies, but lately not as much. But I wonder, I like it. A quiet movie like this is if you like to fall asleep to a movie, it's a quiet movie as well. Like it's real quiet. So, what would you say when someone's asking you, do you think you would recommend or not recommend this movie? What's your final thoughts?
I think you should watch it.
Okay.
I think everyone. Yeah.
It's not super.
Deprived that I never watched it before.
Really, it's not super long.
It's not.
It's an hour and 53 minutes, and I think it's worth it.
It is.
It's got an 8.8 out of 10 on IMDb, and I think people should give it a try.
I would definitely recommend that you watch it. I can't believe I've never even heard it before as much because especially with that cast.
Yeah.
And it being the top movie.
Yeah. Well, it was a small movie, and I guess it just slipped under the radar when it came out. But I don't know. I always kind of like clung to little small movies like that. So I guess, and I always read movie magazines when I was, when I worked as a projectionist and manager for the movie theater.
Yeah, working at a movie theater has got to.
One of the best jobs ever. It's honestly probably I don't know, I have worked at a radio station too. So
those
radio station, movie. I've only had one bad job.
What was it?
It was at a group home. I didn't, and I'm not saying the job was bad. It just didn't. It wasn't a fit for me.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't care for it. But it was mainly due to the way that I felt about myself rather than the job. So let's see. Atlanta has come up with a few questions here. We've kind of dove into the first question, which was about schizophrenia. But the second question she has is a pretty interesting question, and it is: if given the chance, would you go back in time to save a loved one? Would you still do it if it meant that you would die in the process, so that he or she may live? Do you? What do you? That is a good question.
Yeah, that's a
I would have to say no. I wouldn't want to change the primary universe,
hard.
because what if I go back, change the universe, change, you know, the loved one's still alive, and I die, but it was meant for them to die anyway, so they die the next day, the next week, a year later.
Your book.
Yes. So does it do anyone any good?
I don't think that you should
Try to alter
alter what's
happened.
meant to be. I'm a firm believer that everything happens for a reason. That is my motto. So I would say no.
Okay. So no, yeah,
Not for a selfish reason of the fact that I wouldn't. Not
I would for a selfish reason. I'll take that on my shoulders.
well, I mean, like if someone
I would for
I
some.
would there's a difference in saying you would lay down your life for someone than to bring them back for that's
to,
a different
to change it.
to change the past
Yeah.
and do something like that. I don't think that we should try to undo what's done. No.
Why do you know what? This was a question, and I think I have the answer for this one. Lena was like, "What do you think is the significance of the fact that Donnie was only on placebos? Why, perhaps, did the movie take the time to show this?" I think the movie took the time to show this so it would be in the audience member's head: is he schizophrenic? Because that's been a lot of the questions that we've looked up and discussed.
Well, that's what they even said in the movie. That was his diagnosis, was paranoid schizophrenia.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean that had to be the reason
But if
for
you
that.
if
So,
you tell someone they're diagnosed with that, let's say that you tell someone, do you think that that person would start acting different knowing that information that they're schizophrenic?
I think it depends on the person.
Yeah.
I think some people would, yes. I think some people, if you told them they only had one arm, they would. I mean, I know that's extreme, but you know what I mean.
Yeah,
I mean, there's some
yeah.
people that, yes, if you told them you're schizophrenic, then they'd have 20 personalities. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that's, yeah. I do.
They would play that angle
They
well.
would play that angle.
So you like Donnie Darko, huh?
Yeah.
I'm glad you did. I'm glad you did. It's a good movie. I think everyone should go check it out. It's on HBO Max if people want to go watch it, and I'm sure a lot of people have VHS or DVD, and you can get it on. You can probably buy it on a lot of other places. Now, Richard Kelly, the director and writer of Donnie Darko, has made only two other movies. One called Southland Tales, and one called The Box. Have you heard of either one of them?
The Box. When was that one made?
So The Box was released in 2009, and it has a cast of Cameron Diaz and James Marsden.
Can you tell me what it was about?
So this one, I've never seen this one actually. A small wooden box arrives on the doorstep of a married couple who know that opening it will grant them $1 million, but kill someone they don't know.
I've seen the previews, but I never watched them.
Okay. And he also made another movie called Southland Tales in 2006, starring. This has a lot of a big cast: Dwayne Johnson, Sarah Michelle Gellar,
Wow.
Sean William Scott.
So he makes movies with really good casts.
And then there's several like Saturday Night Live people in there too. The guy that played Booger in the Revenge of the Nerd movies. Curtis, you know who I'm talking about?
Yes.
Curtis Armstrong. He's in it. So there's just a lot of there's more random people. I'm trying to go to the other cast list. We got Sarah Michelle Gellar, I said that one, Dwayne Johnson, John Lovitz, Mandy Moore, Sherry O'Terry from Saturday Night Live, Sean William Scott. Have you seen the movie The Princess Bride?
Oh, yes.
That little guy that plays
Mm-hmm.
he's trying to get him to drink the poison.
Yes.
That guy's in it. Kevin Smith, Justin Timberlake's in it. I forgot.
Wow.
So, quite a few people that's been known. The movie that made no money, and therefore, and then the box made no money, and then he's not made another movie since. So I really have thought about tweeting out to him and see if he would call into the show, because he's at a level. Although I respect him, he's at a level that he might answer a tweet. You know what I mean?
I mean,
what it's not like he's. I'm not even putting him down. I would like to be in his position. I wouldn't mind. You make one good movie. I mean, the other two aren't bad, I'm sure, but I mean, you're known for one great movie. It's more than most people.
yes.
So I would say check out Donnie Darko. Give it a
Definitely.
try. See what you think about it.
I would definitely do that. Yes. If you haven't seen it, definitely watch it.
And to be honest with you, we're going to listen to one of the most popular songs, probably the most popular song on the soundtrack, is Gary Jules' cover of Mad World. And I used to use this music to a segment I had called Freaky Phobia.
I love this song.
So, you know what I should actually do?
What?
We'll end the show on that. So, if people don't know that are watching, we're doing a show, but we're also recording a show that will air not this week, but next week. So we've got a couple that we do it in advance. So thanks everyone for tuning in on the, I guess the live version of the show, and check out the other people's show. This is Real Talk. I'm Adam,
I'm Stacy.
and we will see you all later.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Have a good night.
Good night.